speaking about order wins, transformers and rectifiers. That's the company on our radar. From the start of 2025, the company has backed a bunch of orders. We have Mr. Satyen Mamtora, who's the managing director of the company, who joins in. Along with him is Mr. Rajora, who is the CFO of the company as well. Both the gentlemen in our studios. Thanks a lot, sir, for joining in.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. You know, when we started this year, you had an order book of around 3,700 odd crores.
Yes.
But after you kept winning orders,
yes.
And the last known order book publicly that you had spoken on CNBC-TV18 here was close to around 4,200 crores.
Yeah.
If you could give us a sense of where does that number stand at right now? The incremental orders that you've gotten so far, are they at a blended margin higher than your 14-15% range? And what kind of order inflows are you targeting for the remainder of this year, that's around 15 days, and all of next year?
Yeah. So currently we just won one order from Jetco, which is around 726 crores. The margins are slightly better. Around 16%, yes, and the next year we will be closing at around, we are targeting around 3,500 crores, and in terms of, that is sales revenue, and in terms of new orders book, we should be close to around 8,000 crores by end of next year.
So that's the order inflow that you're targeting? Or
order inflow, new order inflow we are targeting by the end of next year.
So you're targeting 3,500 crores in revenue is what you said, and then the rest of the sum that you mentioned is for the new order inflow, right? So the current order book that you have, by when do you expect to execute that over a period of time?
So the current order book that we have, 3,500 crores we'll be executing this year, and the remaining is in the first quarter of next year.
Oh, so you mean by this year? You mean by
by the coming financial year.
In FY26, right? Right. Yeah. Fair. And what is the mix in the order book that you're seeing? Your exposure to state government utilities and to enterprises as well.
So major of our order book would be from power grid and NTPC and likes, and then other than that we are targeting EPC contractors. And some boards which are our favorites or which are close to us, we also quote to them. So Gujarat being one of them, it is our home board. So we have, this is the largest order in the recent past that Jetco has also given to somebody.
What about exports? You know, you had earlier guided for about 25% share coming in from exports, understandably due to weakness in the international markets, that in the third quarter accounted for just about 10% in your overall sales. Where does that number stand?
So that would stand at around 10%, but in the recent past, we as a company have decided that first we will do whatever needs to fulfill the needs of India.
Okay.
So we are targeting now India first, and close to 10% exports is what we are targeting, not beyond that.
But is there a compromise on margins? Is there a possibility that
there should not be a compromise on margins. The margins are almost the same. But we have to currently focus on the needs of India in terms of electrification of India.
Well, Mr. Rajora, you mentioned, you know, you guided for 14% margins. Now, the orders that you've won, as Mr. Mamtora was also saying, that are on better margins. Do you expect that figure to trend higher, or do you stick to that 14% band just because to be on the conservative side?
No, the margins are slightly improving now. Actually, year by year, if you see the margins are improving. Even if you see the quarter by quarter, we are increasing the margins in that way. And our target is to reach to around 17% margin levels in next 2 years' time. So we are actually guided on that side. And basically, the focus is not to increase the margin by increasing the prices. The focus is to bring the operational efficiencies as well as to get the better margins by way of implementing the backward integration activities, what we are doing. So we are expecting that these are going to be the better margins for us, and on the console basis, we'll have the better leverage on the margins once our backward integration activities will be in take place. And you had asked one question that what is going to be our order book by end in next 15 years time. As on today, we have around 5,200 crore order book. And we see that we'll be closing somewhere around 5,200 to 5,300 crore order book.
Maybe about similar levels. Similar next 15 days, maybe at best 100 crore.
Because we'll have to leverage out the revenue what we are doing in this month also.
So, you know, since you're talking about the next 15 days itself, you know, the first 9 months of this year, 1,350 crores top, roughly is what you've done on the top line. Your target was 2,000 crores. You'll cross that, or you'll
Well, right
just
on.
about
We should be around 2,000 crores, 1950 to 2,000, somewhere between that.
with 14.5% sort of margins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And you had given us a glide path of margin improvement all the way up to 17% by FY27.
Yeah.
Next year, on a 3,500 crore revenue, what are the margins that you would do?
We are expecting somewhere around 15 to 16% margin.
What about the current capacity utilization that you have with the orders that you are winning? Do you plan on expanding capacity going forward as well? CapEx plans for the next year?
Yeah, so we are currently expanding, and our expansion would be finished by 1st April. Our new plant, the expansion will be operational on 1st of April. That will add about 15,000 MVA in the current. And after this, by end of this year, by 1st January, we are expanding to 22,000 more MVA. So our total capacity in terms of MVA should be around 65 to 70,000 MVA.
By?
By 1st January to 2026.
2026.
Okay,
And
so
how
that's
much,
the third quarter FY.
Yeah, third quarter FY.
how much do you plan on spending to get to that?
We have almost 100.
Basically, in entire capex, we are expending around incurring around 500 crore rupees capex in the present year and coming financial year, right? And the next capacity expansion of 22,000 crore rupees, 22,000 crore MVA, what he has said, it is going to be on the extra high voltage transformers side.
And extra high voltage, I presume, are
The
margin accretive.
400
Yes.
kV and the 765 kVs.
They are the need of the hours. Right?
That is where the major focus of India is currently, in terms of laying the cables and electrifying every single town or a village. The 765 and the 400 kV will come in picture,
Right.
and then the distribution transformers or the small power
You
transformers.
know, you're also entering the solar and hydrogen transformers, and
Yeah.
in that, I remember the last time you joined us, you said that you have a head start ahead of everyone else when it comes to capacity addition. If you could give us a sense on where you are on that versus the others.
So currently we will be adding 15,000 more MVA in terms of, approximately 8,000 MVA in terms of solar and solar IDTs and green hydrogen transformers, and around 5,000 MVA in terms of distribution transformers.
Okay, and I'll have to ask this to the CFO. 750 crore QIP provision, when do you launch it?
No, there is no plan as of now. It is basically enabling approval what we have taken from the board, seeing that if any good opportunity comes and we want to leverage on that, right? So then if anything requires, we'll be coming on
So that enabling provision lasts for a year, right?
Yes.
So how long do you have left for that?
We have entire year left for that.
So no plans as of now.
No, so we're looking at inorganic growth opportunities that if we can find some. It is faster to, grow inorganically than grow organically and build plants. And
So we can hear something in the near future?
Sure.
sure, we should.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for spending time
Thank
and
you.
joining us today. Wish you good luck for the
Thank
rest
you.
of the year.
Thank you.
The management there
Thank you.
of Transformers and Rectifiers India.